Morning, everyone. It is Tuesday morning, and I'm sorry if I look a little bit odd. I have the really great fortune to live within roughly a kilometer from three fantastic swimming pools: the local pool, a private pool, and the big College Park, University of Maryland Olympic-sized pool. So, it would be obscene if I didn't use those pools. So I'm kind of in the water a lot, and I'm just out from a morning swim, something I usually don't do, but it fit into my morning program. Okay, so what I want to do here is make this this 5-minute video to go over a few things that I've already mentioned for the most part, but I want to re-emphasize them. Okay, the first one I've not mentioned actually, and that is in the very near future you're going to get a midterm grade. Now, the thing about the midterm grades is, quite frankly, I do my best to give you an idea, but I don't calculate them down to to a digit, to a small percentage point. I round up in the favor of the students, and it's an approximate grade. It's a casual grade. It doesn't count for anything. I don't average it in, and there's no quantification of it whatsoever. It's just to give you an idea where you stand. And so if you have any questions about that grade, just contact me. As always, text me 301-728-5175 and we can talk about it. I guess I could change the grade. If the grade means something to you for whatever reason, talk to me and we can kind of negotiate it. Okay, that's enough of that one. Okay, so you've got a grade coming. Don't think you're done with the course if you get an A. Don't think you have to go out and do perversions if you get a C. Just be relaxed about it. If you've got the slightest questions, talk to me. Okay, number one. Number two is stay close to me as we move into the last part of the class. I am really super accessible in the sense that, as everyone knows, I've got these kids who text me constantly from college. And so, if you have questions, either little questions or big questions about the class, just 301-728-5175. In general, you get a response quickly, really, really, really quickly. And that's what I would do, because it's no inconvenience for me. I can give you great guidance really quickly. So, it's not that I don't mind it. It's that I really like getting your questions. Yeah, it helps me in a lot of ways. And it's also the other thing that I wanted to say is feel free to give me a call. We'll set up, text me, we can set up a time for a call. I'm happy to talk to you at great length about anything. Okay, so that's two. Third thing that I wanted to quickly bring up is the course. Now, I've mentioned this like 10,000 times, and so I know this is kind of vieux jeu. It's kind of the old hat here. But I want to go through it again. Okay. First, this class is supposed to emulate, replicate, imitate, whatever words you want to use, as perfectly as possible the writing assignments from the workforce. It is not supposed to be a college class aiming to help you write academic papers. You've got plenty of those and all kinds of experience doing that. The thing that people don't have too much experience in is what it's like to write for a supervisor. And so as you're doing these the last 2 months or whatever it is, papers, always be very clear about place, time, person, theme, and do some role playing. Develop the persona, and the persona can be either close to yourself or completely imaginary. It's all the same to me. I don't really care about that, but I want you to pretend, quote unquote, that you're writing at work. That's what the course is about. And the closer you are to that, the better. Now, that's three. So for four, this is a little more complicated here. And I see that I'm moving towards 5 minutes, and I try to keep these under 5 or 6 minutes, the videos, because number one, they're not, you're looking at some guy just out of the swimming pool, and that's, not exactly my idea of fun. Secondly, they're harder to load and they tend to snag when I load them from my camera, because I'm just talking to my camera to YouTube, and then from YouTube up to the class. So, okay, I'll see if I can do this in 60 seconds or so. The if excuse me, if you have fallen behind, it's really easy to catch up. No one, even if you're quite a few assignments behind, no one should panic. Okay, there's no penalty. My due dates, as I've said like 50,000 times now, are very flexible anyway. And so if you're falling behind, or you're really behind, don't agonize. There's no reason at any point in this class to feel anxiety and stress. I've done my best to banish that from the class. Just begin to catch up. If I were you, I would talk to me. I would come to me and say, well, I'm whatever X assignments behind. What's the best way to catch up? I will give you a little program for catching up, which will make it if not simple, painless. Okay, this should be a relatively painless class. Okay, so don't despair, and don't if you're kind of you're really far behind, you're kind of just waiting for the moment to withdraw. I mean, if I were you, I wouldn't withdraw. I would work with me and get caught up and finish the class. It's a good class. It's a solid class. It gives you what you want. Now, I'm going to sneak in something here. Now, I've mentioned this a lot of times, but let me do it again. The thing about writing at work is it has changed incredibly quickly and essentially over the last, let me just say, 10 years. Okay, and this is accelerating. That is, the rules and the guidelines, the protocols for writing at work change just really quickly. Okay, really, really quickly, and as do the dynamics of working, especially for a big company. And as everyone knows this by now, I first of all have a tremendous amount of experience in working in this context, and so I'm really aware of how much writing has changed and how much writing is changing. And so the overall here, the point that I really want to make here, I'm going to underline it and then I'll do a full video on this, is that the era of form letters and kind of being mechanical and standardizing everything is kind of over. And the reason for that is, yes, of course, things are still standardized. There's still mail dumps and group messages and stuff like that. But they're basically done by machines, okay? The role of a writer, that is someone who's writing on a daily basis, which is what you're going to be doing, has to be really personal. And they have to have personality, or the writing gets drowned out and it seems kind of rude, okay? And so that's many of my comments and much of my guidance in this class has to do with the personalization of this kind of writing. Now, okay, so I'm going to be working more on that as we conclude in the class. Now, to kind of just conclude this whole thing is the administration of this class. Don't worry about it. That's my job. I'm a very student-friendly prof. And if you're behind, I'll work with you. That's the first big current here. Secondly, the world of writing at work is really changing in a very interesting way. 15 or 20 years ago, a class like this, wouldn't have really been very interesting because everything was kind of standardized. Today, it is really interesting and really important. I can't emphasize enough that the royal road to promotion in almost all fields is through writing and being able to write effectively in your professional community. Now, I'm going to pick this theme up very quickly, and sorry if this got a little bit long, and sorry for the swimming pool thing.